identify the object, or how we can get identify the element by using selenium. Okay, so let's understand in a very detailed of these particular things. Okay, right. So further, considering that, considering that this particular selenium, to identify the object, to identify the object, or taking with element, to identify the object or taking with the element. Further, in selenium, okay, so in selenium, we need to be get, right? So in selenium, we need to be get using with the option, using with the option, considering the taking with inspect. We need to be get using with the option taking with inspect. While working, while working that particular inspect, while working that particular inspect, we are having or taking with 8 types of techniques. While working with the inspect, we are taking care about in having with 8 types of techniques. In that particular 8 types, considering that in that particular 8 types, mentioning that name and then ID, class, and then XPath, considering the tag name, CSS, and considering the link text. Link text, which will be taking with partial link text, right? So totally we got 8 types of techniques are there. So how we can identify, how we can identify particular object, how we can identify particular object by using these particular 8 types of techniques. That is what we need to be get understand. So now, as simple as the whole conclusion is, we need to be get identify the object. To get identify the object, to get identify the object, we need to be get take care about. I mean, we need to be get take care about in having that particular respective inspect option. You may take any application. You may consider any application you want to automate. You have to recognize these particular objects here. I mean, button, checkbox, drop down, whatever it can be. You have to take care about in recognizing that particular respective objects here. So how to identify? That is what we need to understand. Okay, let's see that. Let's go with our HRMS application. Let's go with our HRMS application. So I told that there is some issue. We have some issue with HRMS application. I mean, in the Naresh IT server, we are looking into that. In soon, we'll resolve that issue. You guys will not be able to access the HRMS application for some time. We are doing some maintenance in the server. Soon we'll resolve it. Then you will be able to get access the application. Now, this is the application we are going to automate. Manual testing, we got adapt in project, right? So manual testing, we got adapt in project. In a similar way, as part of automation testing, we need to take care about in automating this particular project. So if I want to automate this project, if I want to automate this project or any kind of the project, whatever it can be, if you want to be get automate any kind of the project, first you need to be get more comfortable. First, you need to be get more comfortable in taking care about identifying the objects. I mean, identifying the text box, identifying the button or link, checkbox, drop down, whatever it can be, anything we need to identify how we can do that. We'll understand step by step. Now, to identify the object, to identify the object by using name and then ID and then class. By using name and then ID and then class. Followed with same steps only. To identify the object, to identify the object by using ID and then name and then class, followed with same steps only. What exactly that steps to be followed? What exactly that particular steps to be followed? Let's see that. For example, I want to identify this text box. I want to identify this particular text box, considering that username text box. I want to identify that particular text box. Anything, text box, button, checkbox, label, whatever it can be, need to be get identify that particular object. As an example, I will be taking with, as an example, I'm considering that taking with username text box. So how I want to identify? How to identify by using name and by using ID and then taking with class. I want to identify the object by using name or taking with ID or taking with class. So how to identify? Let's see that. Let's go with a very simple understanding. Let's go with a very simple understanding. Assume that, assume that you have group of 100 people. Just an example. Just an example. You got group of 100 people. In a group of 100 people, you have to call one person. If you want to call any person, in general, how you will call the person? In a group of 100 members, if you want to just call any of the person, how you can call that person? Right. In simple, taking with the name. So I mean, how you are recognizing the person, you are identifying the person with the help of the name, right? You are identifying the person with the help of the name. Assume that if you got multiple people with the same name, just assume that you got multiple people with the same name. In case if you got multiple people with the same name, then you will take care about adding surname, first name, initial, different things you will do. Right? So in a similar way, automation concept also same thing. You have 8 types of techniques. As you are having 8 types of techniques, in these particular 8 types of techniques, in these particular 8 types of techniques, you have to take care about you need to take care about in working. You have to take care about in utilizing any of the technique. You have to take care about in utilizing any of the technique here according to tester comfortable, because the target is identifying the object. Identifying the object is our target. Which option need to be used, that will depends on tester comfortable. Now I want to identify, I want to identify this particular. I want to identify this particular username text box. So how I can identify? I'm trying with the name, ID, class. But I want to know that what is the name of that particular text box. In case of human beings, in case of the person, you will ask that person, boss, what is your name? Then he will mention what is the person name. But here, as we are working with the automation testing, from where we can get the information of these things. For that, for that, we are taking with the help of, we are taking with the help of HTML code. For that, we are taking with the help of HTML code. So to understand or to get information of name details, ID details, or class details, or consider to get object details, we are taking with the help of this particular HTML code. From the HTML code, from the HTML code, in simple, we are understanding what is the name of that object, or what is the ID of that object, or what is the class of that particular object. Okay, but you may get in a doubt, sir, we are totally new to the HTML code. We doesn't know anything related to HTML. Nothing to worry. It's not like we are writing any HTML code because of the Selenium. Because of the Selenium, we are not writing. Because of the Selenium, we are not writing any HTML code. Okay. Because of the Selenium, we are not writing, any HTML code. Okay. So just need to understand what is the HTML code is provided. So how you will understand the HTML code? Not like into expertise, not like into expertise. In a very simple way, you can consider that anything started with less than symbol. When you refer HTML code, when you refer HTML code, anything started with less than symbol, anything started with less than symbol, you can consider, you can consider, or you can say that that is HTML tag. Anything started with the less than symbol, you can consider that HTML tag, or you can consider that HTML tag name. Okay, so you can consider that HTML tag, or which we can mention that HTML tag name here. At the same time, in the same HTML code, if you are able to see equal symbol, you can consider HTML attribute. You can consider HTML attribute. Right? So as simple as when you are referring with the HTML code, how you are understanding the HTML code. Anything started with less than symbol, considering the HTML tag name, and then having equal symbol considering that HTML attribute. Okay, now let's see here. Let's go with one by one how we can identify that particular objects. Let's see. Let's go with username text box only. I'm just taking the right click. Any object you want to identify, any object you want to identify, you have to take with the right click. Once you done with the right click, once you done with the right click, you need to go with inspect option. Once you click on the inspect, you will get the HTML code. Lot of HTML code will be there. Lot of HTML code is there. We are not worried about on it. You are not worried about all the HTML code. Just you have to see that only the code which is highlighted. You are able to see the code. You are able to see the code which is highlighted, right? So, right. Just 1 minute, guys. Just 1 minute. Uh, Guys, just 2 minutes, guys. Just 2 minutes. I'll be back. Just 2 minutes back. Just 2 minutes. Sorry guys, sorry. Right. So now, once we have been done with this particular right click on Chrome browser, initially practice with the Chrome browser. Initially practice with the Chrome browser. Once they got comfortable, once they got comfortable with Chrome browser, then you can go with any of the thing here, right? Now you can see that once you done with the inspect, once you done with the inspect, you will be having lot of HTML code will be there. So if you're done with the inspect, lot of HTML code will be there. So in this particular HTML code, we are not worried about in referring all the code. We are not worried about in referring with all these particular code. We need to take care about in referring with. We need to be get take care about in referring with only highlighted one. Now see the highlighted one. We got the less than symbol. Anything started with the less than symbol, anything started with the less than symbol, we can consider that HTML tag name. Anything started with the less than symbol, we can consider that HTML tag name. Okay, now see that, see the understanding. Anything we can start with the less than symbol, we can say that HTML tag name. So what is the tag name we got? Input, right? Now we told that having the equal symbol, we told that having the equal symbol, anything having with the equal symbol, anything having with the equal symbol, we can consider that attribute. Anything having with the equal symbol, we can consider that attribute here. Now, what we required? We require the name. So what is the name we got? TXT username. This information, this information we have to use in further of writing the Sluniim program. In future, we are going to write Sluniim program. At the time of writing the Sluniim program, at the time of writing the Sluniim program, we have to take care about, we have to take care about in utilizing these particular name option. Now, what is another option? ID. Let me try. See that. If we refer this highlighted one, if we refer this highlighted one, is there any ID option here? See the highlighted one, only highlighted one. We are not worried about the whole thing. We are not worried about the whole thing. Now, if we see that this particular one, considering that if we refer only highlighted one, is there any ID? Is there any ID attribute? Yes or no, guys? Is there any ID attribute? No, there is no ID at all. If there is no ID in that particular highlighted one, in this particular highlighted one, if there is no ID, right? If there is no ID, we cannot consider, we cannot provide that particular ID. You can mention like not applicable. So this username text box of this application, we cannot apply the technique of ID. We can say that not applicable. Now, at the same time, we got a class. At the same time, we got class. This particular one, this particular one, taking with the class, considering that we'll see that any class is there or not. Right, you will see that is there any class or not. So see that any class option, if you refer the highlighted one, if you refer with the highlighted one, is there any class option? Yes, we got in a class option. So that we will be taking with class option. This is how you need to come up with in taking with doing the practice. What exactly, what exactly the practice you have to do is, what exactly the practice you have to do is, you guys need to create one Excel. You need to create, you guys need to be get create one particular Excel. For example, I'm taking with Excel file. You have to create, you need to create, you need to create one particular Excel file. Okay, so you need to be get create one particular Excel file. Now this particular Excel file, this particular Excel file, you can provide us object, or you can provide us element. You can provide us object, or you can provide us element. Any name you can provide it. Underscore which project? HRMS project. I mean, we are identifying the object or element related to related to HRMS application, related to HRMS application. So what you guys need to do the practice, what you guys need to do the practice is, you have to do the practice of creating one particular Excel file. How we have to create? First, provide the column name, provide the column name, object, or consider that element. Provide the column name, object, or element, first column. After that, how we are identifying? By using name, ID, class. Now, see that how we are doing it. Now, just consider how we are doing it. Right. Now, we need to take care about, we have to take care about doing the practice of each and every object. What you guys need to do, not like whole application. Whole application, it will take lot of time. The whole application, it will be taking with lot of time. Initially, in the initially, right? So the whole application, it will be taking with lot of time. But initially, what we can do is, we need to be get, we need to be get, take care about in identifying the objects related to login module and related to PIM module. Related to login module and related to PIM module, you guys need to take the practice. So what you have to practice? How to practice? See here. Let's consider all the objects in this module. First is username text box. Mention that username, username text box, username text box. How you have to identify name? How you will get the name information? Right click, inspect. Just right click, inspect. See that name option. Name is available as it is, as it is. Provide that particular name. Provide that particular name. What is the next option? ID. Go to the HTML code. Any ID option? No ID option. As ID is not there, as ID is not there, you can mention that not applicable. As ID is not there, you can mention that not applicable. Okay. After that, you will be taking with class. which you will be taking with class. Now, see that. If you see the highlighted one, class option is there. Okay. So here, class option is there. Just will take class option. Okay. Now, I'm providing class option. That's it. Initially, this is the practice you have to do. This is what you have to get comfortable. Let's go with another one. We got username text box. What is the next one? Password. Password text box. I will provide password text box. I will provide password text box. Right. So if I provide this particular password text box, how I can identify? Again, same. Doing the right click, inspect option. Once you done with the inspect, automatically will get highlighted one. We are not highlighting. We are not highlighting. Just you are taking the right click inspect, automatically you are getting the highlighted one. We have to take care about, we have to take care about taking with only highlighted one. Again, see that. First, what we required, name. Any name option here? Yes, we got name option. We got name option. We need to be get utilize that particular name. So we need to be get utilize that particular name. We need to be get utilize this particular name. Okay. After that, what is the next option? ID. Let's see here. Any ID in the highlighted one? If you refer the highlighted one, is there any ID? No, there is no ID. As no ID, you will mention that not applicable. You will mention that not applicable. Right. After that, you will be taking with class. Let me try with the class. Let me try with the class. This particular class, now we can see. Class option is there. Class option is there. We need to be get provide. We need to be get provide that particular class option. We need to be get provide that particular class option. Okay, done. After that, let me try. Let me try this particular login button. Any object you want to identify, any object you want to identify, you need to be get, you need to be get followed with the same concept. You need to be get followed with the same concept. Considering that, considering that, taking with login button, right? Just right click, just right click. Once you done with the right click, once you done with the right click, we are taking with inspect option. Once you done with the right click, we are taking with inspect option. Once you done the inspect, again, first search with the name. Any name option in the highlighted one. If you look into the highlighted one, is there any name option? Yes, we got name option. Okay, then you have to take that name option. You have to take that name option and you have to provide. This is for login button. Login button. You need to provide, you need to provide that particular one. After that, what we have to search? ID. Let's see here. In the highlighted one, is there any ID option? No, there is no ID option. As ID option is not available, you will consider that taking with not applicable. Okay, then taking with class, we'll see that. Any class option? See the class option. We got in a class that will be taking with class option, that will be providing that particular respective class. Just you need to be get comfortable taking with these options here. Right, guys. Yeah. So considering that, you need to be get take care about, you need to be get take care about having each and everything here, right? I mean, username text box, password text box, login button. Let me try. Let me try. Clear button. This is what you have to get comfortable, because step by step we are going to understand all the techniques here. These three are very simple techniques. Name, ID, class, very simple. Not like we have to take any major hard work here. Just you have to go with doing the right click. Just you have to take doing the right click on any object and taking with inspect. Once you done with the inspect, once you done with the inspect, you have to take highlighted one. In the highlighted one, you have to see that any name option. We got name option. Need to be get take care about. We need to be get take care about that particular name. So we have to provide. We need to provide that particular name. After that ID. So ID. Let's see here. If we refer highlighted one, is there any ID option here? No, there is no ID option. As ID option is not available, you have to mention that not applicable. Okay, let me try for class. If I'm taking with the class, if I'm taking with the class, that you need to be get provide considering the taking with that particular one, providing with the class. Now we got username text box, password text box, login button, clear button. Let me try, let me try this label also. Login name. Because this is a different, this is the different. This is the text box, this is the label. This is the text box, this is the label. So how we can recognize? Taking with right click, inspect. Any object you want to identify, any object you want to identify, you have to take with the right click and inspect. Once you done with right click and inspect, once you done with right click and inspect, Now it got HTML code. Now see the highlighted one. In this highlighted one, any name option is there? If I refer this particular highlighted one, is there any name option? In the highlighted one, do we got any name option? No, there is no name option. As there is no name option, as there is no name option, in this particular highlighted one, we are not having any name option, as name option is not available. This is login name label. So this is not applicable, right? After that, after that, we got ID. So any ID option here? Do you have any ID option? If we refer the highlighted one, if we refer with the highlighted one, is there any ID option? No, there is no ID. So as ID is not available, as ID is not available, that is also we need to provide as a not applicable, because we cannot provide our own ID. we are not we are not doing any modification. Just whatever the code is there, we are trying to utilize that particular code only. We are not doing any of the modification. Okay, now you can see here, considering that in taking with the class, any class option here? Do we have the class option here? Yes, we have in a class option. So that we need to be get taking with that particular class option. We need to be get provide. We need to be get provide that particular respective class option. So we got username, we got password, we got login button, clear button, login name label. In a similar way, let me try, let me try password label. Let me try password label. This particular password label, this particular password label, say that again, as simple, right click on the object. You need to go with, you need to go with right click on the object. Once you done, right click on the object. Once you done, right click on the object, you will be taking with inspect, which you will be taking with inspect. Once you done with the inspect, once you done with the inspect, again in the highlighted one, see that any name option, just you're looking into the HTML code, you are referring it. You doesn't require to write any HTML code. There is no need of to write any HTML code. Just whatever that HTML code is there, you're trying to understand that particular respective HTML code. Now see that there is no name option. As there is no name option, you will be considering that not applicable. Okay. After that, let me try with the ID. Is there any ID option here? No, there is no ID. So that you will mention that not applicable. Then see that any class option we got? Yes, we got class option. We need to be get provide that particular class option. We got any class option, need to be get provide that particular class option. Like that, like that, you have to practice. You need to practice by taking each and every object, this image, this header, this particular text, this particular link, this particular text, all the things in the login page, all the things in the login module, you need to be get comfortable. Just to understand more detail, to understand more detail, I'm taking with some more objects. I'm considering with some more objects. Let's see here. I'm taking the option of live. You guys need to practice this PAM model. You guys need to practice this whole PAM model. For now, I'm taking the leave model, leave summary, employee leave summary. Just an example to understand how you will get in a different type of objects. I'm taking the example. Okay, just click on that. Now you got one button. You got a one button taking with the view. You got one button. You got one button taking with the view. So here, if I'm taking with the right click, if I'm taking with the right click, I will do inspect. I will do inspect. Now you can see here. Refer the highlighted one. Is there any name option here? Is there any name option in the highlighted one? Is there any name option? No, there is no name option. Is there any ID option? Yes, we got an ID. So we got an ID. Now we can see here. I'm taking with, I'm considering that view button. Name, there is no name. ID, we got ID, providing that particular respective ID. After that, you will be taking with the class, which need to be get, which need to be get taking with the class. Let's try on it. Any class is there. So is there any class? We got an a class. We got an a class. We need to be get provide. We need to be get provide that particular class. So this is how you have to come up with. This is how you need to come up with in taking with the practice of identifying the objects. Because this concept is very most important in further to write our Selenium programs here. Okay. In a similar way, in PIM model, in this PIM is there, right? I'm clicking on employee list. If I click on employee list, if I click on employee list, I'm having add button, delete button. Add button is there, delete button is there. So this particular add button, I want to recognize. This particular add button need to be identified. What you will do, right click, inspect. Now, if I refer highlighted one, is there any name option? In the highlighted one, is there any name option? See the highlighted one. Is there any name option? No, there is no name option. There is no name option. So now what we will do, this is related to add button. Name not applicable. Okay, let me refer. Let me refer the same HTML code. Any ID option? Name is not available. Any ID? Is there any ID option here? No, there is no ID. Any class option we got? Yes, we got class option. We got class option. See that. Name is not available. ID also not available, but class is available. We need to be get provide that particular class. We need to be get provide that particular class. Okay. Similar way, let me try, let me try delete button. Let me try delete button. If I'm taking with this particular delete button, if I'm taking with this particular delete button, okay. Oh, so if I'm taking with this particular delete button, I can see here. Considering that this particular delete button, doing the right click, inspect. Once I done with inspect, once I done with the inspect, any object I will do the same. Any object I will do the same. Okay. So any object you want to identify, you will be doing with the same. So here we need to be get take care about. Here we need to be get take care about in having this particular one. Taking with doing the right click inspect. Now see that. Is there any name option here? Is there any name option here? No, there is no name option. That means it will be considered as a not applicable. Now let me try. Any ID option here? Is there any ID option? Right. So there is no ID option, but class, we got a class option. So to understand, I'm going with the different objects. For understanding purpose, I'm taking different objects. When you guys are taking the practice, you can try with different type of the objects. You need to be get try. You need to be get try with different type of the objects. Okay. Now try to cross check these two things. If I compare this add button, delete button, is there any name here for add button, delete button? Is there any name option? No. Any ID option? No. Name is not available. ID is not available. Name is not available. ID is not available. But class is available. But even though class is available, what is the problem with the class? See the understanding. If I consider add button, delete button, name is not available, ID is not available. Both the things are not available. Class is available, but the problem with the class is having with the same name. The problem with the class is taking with the same name. That means even though class is available, we cannot utilize in further because duplicate, right? Both the buttons having the same class name, it cannot recognize. That means if I'm considering these two objects, if I'm considering these two objects, I cannot work with the name, I cannot work with the ID, and I cannot work with the class. So we are not able to work with the name, not able to work with ID, not able to work with the class. Then you need to try another technique. Then you have to try another technique that you will be taking with XPath. Then you will be taking with another technique that you will be taking with XPath. So this is how we are having 8 types of techniques. This is how we are having 8 types of techniques here, right? So I mean, considering that 8 types of techniques, you have to try with different options. One option is not working. One option is not working. You need to try with another option. If one option is not working, if one option is not working, you need to try with another option. Now, according to this information, for these two objects, we don't have an option of working with the name and working with the ID and working with the class. Because of that, what is another option we have to try? We need to try with the XPath. Another option, another option we need to try, another option we need to try that will be taking with XPath. So what exactly mean by XPath? What exactly mean by XPath? See the understanding. See the understanding if I'm taking with XPath. So here, most of the time, you guys need to be get comfortable in understanding these four things. Most of the practice need to be done with these four techniques: name, ID, class, XPath. Remaining four just for the interview purpose. Remaining four just for the interview purpose. You have to look into the syntax. Okay, so that you will be taking with XPath. Now, what is the meaning of XPath? The meaning of XPath, the meaning of XPath, considering the group of nodes. The meaning of XPath, considering the group of nodes. Okay, meaning of the node, meaning of the node, considering the in between of less than and greater than symbol, in between of less than and greater than symbol, considering that one particular node. That means if you refer this HTML code, doing the right click and inspect, see that starting less than symbol, in the last greater than symbol, this is one node. For example, this particular one, less than symbol, greater than symbol, one node, less than symbol, greater than symbol. Almost each and every line, almost each and every line will be considered as a one particular node. Almost each and every line is considered as a one particular node here. So considering that the meaning of XPath, the meaning of XPath, we need to be considering that group of nodes. Group of nodes, group of nodes considering as a XPath. Group of nodes considering as a XPath. When you are working this particular XPath, when you are working this particular XPath, we are having two types of XPath. We are having two types here. One is one is absolute XPath. One is absolute XPath. Another one relative XPath. One is absolute XPath, another one relative XPath. Absolute XPath, absolute XPath, considering that absolute XPath, considering that starts with HTML tag, starts with HTML tag. Relative XPath, relative XPath starts with relative XPath starts with attribute, starts with attribute. Okay, absolute XPath starts with HTML tag, relative XPath starts with attribute. So what is this? What are the examples? Most of the things we need to learn in XPath. Lot of things are there. Lot of techniques are there in the XPath. All those things we need to understand. So that we'll understand step by step. The whole tomorrow session, will go with the XPath here. And after that, remaining four are the very simple. And then we'll start writing the Selenium programs. So before getting started writing with the Selenium programs, before getting started writing with the Selenium programs, we need to be get comfortable taking care about the concept of object identification. So because of that, please take care about these practice here. Try to prepare the same Excel file. So how I got prepared with the Excel, you guys also need to come up with in preparing the same Excel here. Okay. So clear up to now? Yeah. In case of any questions, you can carry on. Okay. No more other questions, right? Okay. Please take care about the practice, guys. Please take care about the practice.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.